Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about a book, If You Could Be Mine by Sara Farizan. In this video, I will be discussing the themes of agency, resistance, and obedience in Sara Farizan's If You Could Be Mine. The novel follows Sahar, a young Iranian woman, as she navigates the complicated landscape of love, identity, and societal expectations. In a culture that criminalizes same sex relationships, this book is an insightful exploration of how individuals respond differently to oppressive cultural forces, especially when their personal desires clash with rigid societal laws. Okay, so let's start with agency and resistance in the book. One of the central aspects of the novel is Sahar's internal struggle and her desire to live authentically in a society that doesn't allow her to do so. From the beginning, we see Sahar's resistance to the societal and legal pressures she faces. Her love for her best friend Nasreen is at the heart of the novel, and this love is one of the most powerful forms of resistance she has against a culture that criminalizes same sex relationships. Sahar's agency is seen in her choices. She actively seeks a way to be with Nasreen despite the risks, which includes the controversial decision to undergo gender reassignment surgery. This choice, while problematic in many ways, demonstrates Sahar's desire to have agency over her own identity. Her resistance is not just about defying the culture's norms, but also about claiming her right to love who she loves without fear of persecution. It's a subtle but powerful act of rebellion. Instead of passively accepting the status quo, Sahar challenges it by taking control of her future. And now let's talk about obedience to power. However, Sahar's path to self discovery is not without moments of compliance. The reality of life in Iran forces her into situations where she has to be obey societal expectations, even if it contradicts her own desires. For example, despite her love for Nasreen, Sahar feels pressure to conform to the expectation of her family, particularly her father, who is unaware of her sexual orientation. She also experiences a deep internal conflict when she contemplates the surgery. Initially, it seems like her compliance with the procedure would allow her to be with Nasreen, but the decision also represents a kind of submission to the rigid norms surrounding gender in Iran. What's interesting about Sahar's obedience is that it's not necessarily a sign of weakness but a survival mechanism. Throughout the novel, we see how Iranian society forces individuals, particularly women and LGBTQ individuals, to conform to strict rules for safety and acceptance. Sahar's obedience does not mean she is fully passive. It's just that sometimes survival requires compromising on one's ideals. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about resistance through community. Another important layer of resistance in the book comes from the ways Sahar builds connection with others who are in similar situations. Characters like Parveen, her mother, yes, Parveen, her mother, are also in their own ways resisting the power structures that oppress them. Parveen, for example, tries to protect Sahar, and while she does not have the same personal agency that Sahar does, her care and concern for her daughter reveal how resistance does not always have to be overt, it can also take the form of quiet, protective love. In fact, the way the book shows various forms of resistance, whether subtle or overt, emphasizes the different ways people react to oppressive systems. Not everyone has the same kind of freedom or ability to fight back, and some characters, like Sahar's family, show obedience as a survival tactic rather than outright submission. In the end, I would like to say that in If You Could Be Mine, Farizan masterfully demonstrates the complexity of living under a regime that enforces strict cultural and legal codes, especially when it comes to gender and sexuality. Through Sahar's journey, we see how agency and resistance are intricately tied to personal choices and survival in a restrictive society. Sahar's obedience is not just a sign of compliance, but also a strategy to navigate a dangerous and oppressive environment. This story made me reflect on the real world challenges faced by LGBTQ individuals in restrictive societies and how acts of resistance, even when subtle, are crucial for personal freedom. It's a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming pressure, people continue to fight for their right to love and live authentically. So, in the end, in the closing, I would like to say thanks for watching. In the comments, I would love to hear your thoughts on how you interpret Sahar's resistance and obedience, and if you think her decisions were more about agency or survival, don't forget to like about literature and identity. Thank you.